Hi, my name is Jihan, and I'm presenting this paper in the Global Conference for Advances in Education and Research 2020. It's a great pleasure for me to be talking to you through this forum. It's a wonderful learning and research forum, and I hope to share my ideas with you through this forum. And I hope that this paper will uh, further the concept of learning and education in a very novel way. The topic of my paper is value creation via nonlinear learning, neural networks, and entropy reversal. There is a subtopic creating blue oceans through nonlinear pedagogies. Well, the concept of education or the pedagogies or the methods of learning have adopted a very standard, structured, and in many ways a very linear format. This linear format is very popular. This linear format is something that you will find everywhere, from basic primary schools through all the institutions of higher learning. But linear learning, I think it is like a dinosaur. It doesn't move so quickly. It will take something like a meteor to move it away and bring something new. It's not just for the sake of bringing something new that I'm presenting the concept of nonlinear learning and the nonlinear pedagogy model, which is the theme of this paper. Rather, there is a certain value that I think we can create by adopting a nonlinear learning model or nonlinear pedagogies. And I'm taking help from neural networks, and at the same time, I'm like presenting before you're going to present before you the ways to reduce the entropy that is certainly going to get higher as we adopt a nonlinear model of learning. Well, before I explain the nonlinear pedagogy model, I think there are certain important terms that I should explain about. So, in this foreword, I picked up the main word that is the core concept in this presentation, and that is pedagogy. Pedagogy is etymologically like it is from the word pedagogos. It's in like as called in ancient Greek, and and literally means to walk a people to a school or to a place of learning. So this is the conventional concept of learning, that you take a student, you guide him through or you guide her through various steps in the learning process, or and you walk him from entrance through the exit. So it's a very structured model. The most linear models of learning, or most conventional models of learning, are like just like this, because even the word of pedagogy, which is inherent in the learning process, or it sometimes itself stands for learning. So that is something I'm going to break away from in this presentation. Linear learning is based on pedagogy that allows an entrance to a school, and the pupil is literally guided through certain milestones and eventually led to the exit gate. In a manner, it is a very structured system of learning which requires students to adapt, learn, and apply it to the outside world, whatever they have learned in their schools or in the institutions of learning. Nonlinear learning, on the other hand, is unstructured but a value-oriented approach to learning. Nonlinear pedagogy is bespoke and based upon students' potential that is assessed considering strategic as well tactical objectives expected from learning. So it's very important to note few major differences that are here in nonlinear learning as compared to the linear learning. Nonlinear learning is first of all unstructured, like it's a bespoke pedagogy that you develop from the uh, by estimating or by evaluating each and every student's potential, and then developing a bespoke model of learning. And there is nothing structured. There is going to be a lot of going forward and backward. But what is important here is the concept of value creation, because you create a value, and you don't just like pile up a certain amount of books or lectures or experiments on a certain student. Rather, you see the potential and you enhance the value that a student can carry with him or her when they are graduated from your from a certain learning institution. Well, it may look like that we are sidestepping the main topic here, but it's not, because what is a nonlinear pedagogy? There is, as I told you and as explained in my last slide, that there is a lot of going forward and backward. That not necessarily means that we are going to waste a lot of time, but it's just like we will have a certain amount of evolutionary process to kick in order for the student to evolve the best set of actions or best set of strategies, whether or best tactics to move on. And in the long run, if you see, you will see that this is going to save a lot of time. And if we are able to make use of neural networks, they are certainly going to help us to take the best possible path, the optimal path towards the next steps in the learning process. As this is a model based on non-linear learning, or you can say our non-linear learning pedagogy it may look a little bit like chaotic from the outset, and obviously when we are following an evolutionary path, and that process we are bound to have a certain amount of entropy, which refers to chaos, disorder, or decay of a system, that is of our social system or a pedagogical system. So we have to take care of entropy, the disorder that might result because of not following a very structured or linear form of education. So that brings us to the concept of nonlinear pedagogy. It is an open-ended, unstructured, and evolving a learning paradigm that is prone to chaos. Only the broader goals are defined individually and is based on a bespoke curriculum. The learning process is evolutionary in nature and can lead to redefining even the goals. Nothing is predetermined, and each next learning module is based upon evolutionary adaptation. So in this way, as is expected when you are not following a structured curriculum or pedagogy is not very linear, we certainly are looking towards something which is not predetermined, and we just see that how the student reacts to certain type of learning environment after determining the outcomes of a certain steps taken. We get back, we adopt ourselves, and we let the student to go on an evolutionary, you can say, path, and then we move on to the next module of learning. And value creation is a very fundamental objective that we have set in this model, that we have to create value. We have to not just help our students to learn a certain set of books or master a certain set of lectures or learning techniques. Rather, we have to create value. So value creation is very important. So at this point, when we talk of value creation, we are talking of like a bifocal value creation for the student as well as value creation for the academic institution or any institution of learning. So value creation is very core concept in this chapter, in this paper. Here I would like to use the concept of value as defined by Eric Van Hocker. Like he defined it as a pattern of matter, energy, and or information. A pattern of matter, energy, and or information has economic value if the following three conditions are jointly met, like irreversibility. All value creating economic transformations and transactions are thermodynamically irreversible. Like we are going to refer to reversibility referred in our paper as R. And entropy. All value creating economic transformations and transactions reduce entropy locally within the economic system while increasing entropy globally. So that is going to be denoted by E. And fitness. All value creating economic transformations and transactions produce artifacts and or actions that are fit for human purpose. So we are going to denote it by F. So irreversibility, entropy, and fitness are going to be key ingredient of our business model that we are presenting in this paper. Now, step by step, we are getting closer to defining and explaining our nonlinear learning model. Nonlinear learning model NLM aims to maximize value. So, subject to we minimize entropy and we minimize reversibility and we maximize fitness. So, we have to like minimize two factors like E and R, and we have to maximize F, and that will lead to the maximization of V. Well, nonlinear model of pedagogy actually works like a knowledge funnel where we have a certain amount of mystery, which is in this case is an objective mystery. We are not certain from the very beginning what each student is having as a goal or objective from the learning process. Rather, we leave it open. We let the mystery float around a little bit, and then we develop learning heuristics from there. And once we know the learning heuristics, we can create a certain value algorithms like which can create value. And so in that at the end of that process, we reach at the goals. As they travel through mystery and heuristics and algorithms, it's not an easy process. Certainly, it is going to increase the entropy in the whole process. So we'll be making use of neural networks here. If you see on the upper part of this slide, here we have the factors of E and V, and we use neural networks. So they rotate in a certain direction, or they work in a certain direction that entropy goes down and value goes up. So if that direction of using the neural networks, or that you can say technique of using neural networks, we can actually move and develop our NLP with the aid of NNs, and we can create value, which is a certain final and objective goal here in our non-linear model of pedagogies. So that brings us to the last slide of this presentation. Now I'll just sum up the things I have presented in this paper. We presented a conceptual model of nonlinear pedagogy, and the model allows maximization of the value created in the learning process. The value creation is a central concept and is on three axioms, that is irreversibility, entropy, and fitness. In nonlinear pedagogical model, where neural networks based evolutionary learning is applied to reduce entropy and also to ensure irreversibility of the value creating factors in the NLP. An LPM is capable of guiding us all the way through mysteries, heuristics, and algorithms. Finally, one is capable to reach the goal of learning, that is value creation. Thank you very much. That's all.